Hello, today we're learning about equations of lines. So I know I've got this when I can use slope-intercept form to write an equation of a line. I can use the slope-intercept form to graph a linear equation, use the point-slope form to find the equation of a line given its slope and a point of the line, use the point-slope form to find the equation of a line giving 2 points of the line, use point-slope form to solve problems, and find equations of vertical and horizontal lines. So the key vocabulary today are slope-intercept form, which y'all are familiar with, and then a new one, point-slope form. So slope-intercept form, again, is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, so now we're going to learn about some different forms. We have standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. We've already talked about that before. A has to be positive and there could be no fractions or decimals. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Point-slope form is a new one, so you need to pause this and write that down. It's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where x1 and y1 are a point on the line. Then you know horizontal line is just y equals a constant, and then x is, the vertical line is x equals a constant. So parallel and perpendicular lines, parallel lines have the same slope, different y-intercept. Perpendicular slopes are opposite reciprocals. So example number 1, write an equation of the line with y-intercept of 0, -5, and slope of 2/3. So you're actually going to be writing this in slope-intercept form. Okay, so again, that's y equals mx plus b. So it tells us our slope is 2/3. So I'm going to plug that in for m. And it tells us our y-intercept is -5. So I plug that in for b and I'm done. Okay, 1b, write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form with a y-intercept of 3 and a slope of -4/3. So y equals m x plus b. You do this one, go ahead and pause. And the answer is y equals 2x minus 8. So now we're going to graph these in slope-intercept form. Okay, so the first step is to plot your y-intercept on the y-axis. So that's at -3. And then apply the slope. So remember, the slope is rise over 1. So I'm going to rise up 1, and I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and let's see if I can draw a straight line with this. So I'm going to be, whoa, that is not what I wanted to do. Wow. Okay, hold on. Let me just draw this instead. How about that? Okay, so I'm sorry. So I applied it at -3 and I went up 1 and over 4. So I'm going to draw a line, and that is my line. So let's see how close I got it to what I was supposed to be doing. There we go, pretty good. Okay, next. All right, so we're going to do this one together. So we're going to graph 2x plus 3y equals 12. What form is this in? This is in standard form. So actually, you can do this by graphing your intercept. So I'm going to show you that real quick. So remember, if I plugged in a 0 for x, y would equal 4. So that is my y-intercept. So where x is 0, y is 4. And where y is 0, x is 6. So where y is 0, x is 6. And I can actually do the line right there. So let's see if this works any better for me. Here we go. And I'm going to draw that line. I'll move that out of the way. And there you go. So my line is right there. Now I want to show you something real quick. So if I had done this in slope-intercept form, okay, so I want to show you what that looks like. So I've got 2x plus 3y equals 12. So if I was going to do this in slope-intercept form, I would subtract the 2x. So I go 3y equals negative 2x plus 12 and divide everything by 3, right? So I get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. So how I would graph that, I would start at 4 and I would go down 1, 2 and over 1, 2, 3, down 2 over 1, 2, 3, and you see it's the same line. Okay, I've got to get this ruler out of here. There we go. Okay, so you go ahead and do these. Pause the video. All right, let me know if you need any help with those. So now we're going to be talking about point slope form. The point slope form again is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, so find an equation of the line with a slope of 2 through a point negative 11, negative 12. Write the equation in slope-intercept form and then in standard. So here's the deal. You have to actually go through point slope form to get to slope-intercept and then standard. So this is going to be my x1, my y1, and my m. So I'm going to plug all of these numbers into the point slope formula. So I have y minus negative 12 equals m, which is negative 2, times x minus x1, negative 11. Now you know double signs are awful, so change those. All right, so now we want to go, this is point slope form. So if I ask you to put it in point slope, that's what it would be. But I don't. I want you to put it in slope-intercept. Okay, so how do we do that? We need to distribute that 2, that negative 2. And then I'm going to subtract the 12 to isolate the y. So I get y equals negative 2x minus 34. Okay, so this is slope-intercept. Slope-intercept. Okay, now I'm going to change that. I want to put it in standard now. Okay, so I'm going to take my slope-intercept form and I want to change it to standard, which is ax plus by equals c. So I'm going to move the 2x to the other side, and I would get 2x plus y equals negative 34. And that is standard form. And I know that's kind of a lot, but that's what you got to do. All right, 3b, let's try another one. Find the equation of a line with slope of negative 3 and containing the point 1, negative 5. Write an equation in slope-intercept form and then in standard. Okay, so y minus y1 is negative 5 equals m is negative 3 times x minus x1. Get rid of double negatives. So again, if I ask you for point slope, that is it. That's point slope form. But we don't. We want slope-intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to distribute that negative 3. And subtract the 5 to isolate the y. So this is in slope-intercept form. Now they want me to put it in standard. Again, ax plus by equals c. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take y equals negative 3x minus 2 and change it to standard. So all that means is I have to move the x to the other side. 3x plus y equals negative 2, and that is standard form. Okay, now you get to try this one. So go ahead and pause the video. You're going to put it in point slope form first, and then slope intercept, and then standard. So pause. And these are your answers. So this is in slope intercept, and this is in standard. So some of you may be wondering how to get from slope intercept to standard. So I'm going to just show you that real quick, because this one has a fraction. So slope intercept, you ended up with this. And then you need to go to standard form. So first you would move the x in front of the y. So you get 7/9 x plus y equals 53/9. But remember, in standard form, you can't have any fractions or decimals. So you multiply by the least common denominator, which is 9. And that's how they got 7x plus 9y equals 53, right there. All right, number 4, find the equation of the line through -4, 0, and 6, -1, and write the equation in standard form. Okay, so the only way this one is different than the number 3 that we did is they're not giving you the slope. So that is the very first thing that we have to do. So we have to find the slope. So slope, remember, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to go -1 minus 0 over 6 minus a -4. So I'm just going to change that to +4. So I got -1 over 10 as my slope. Okay. Now I'm going to use a point for point slope. I'm just going to choose one. It does not matter which one you use. It will work out either way. If you use 6, -1 as your point, as your x1, y1, it will work out just the same. Okay. So we're going to go y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm going to get y minus 0 equals -1/10 x. This would change to plus, so minus 4 over 10. I want to show you something real quick. I'm not going to simplify this yet because I need to put it in standard form. Okay, so I'm just going to say y equals, because -0 does nothing. Okay, now I'm going to move the 1/10 to the other side because I need to move the x in front for standard form. Remember, we're going to ax plus by equals c, where there are no fractions or decimals and a has to be positive. Okay, so I'm going to take this up here. So I get 1/10 x plus y equals -4 over 10. And remember, you cannot have any fractions, so multiply the whole thing by the least common denominator. So I get x plus 10y equals -4. And that is my final answer. Okay. Whoa. All right, let's try this. So we have, find the equation of the line passing through the points. You know what, I'm just going to erase that, and it's down there and you'll see it. Okay, find the equation of the line passing through the points 2, 5 and -4, 3, and then write the equation using function notation, then write it in standard form. So function notation, remember, is just f of x. Okay, so instead of saying y equals, we're going to say f of x equals. That's all that function notation means. All right, so find the line passing through these points. So we're going to use our slope first. So I'm going to say, this is supposed to be example 4b also. All right, so slope is 3 minus 5 over -4 minus 2. So I get -8 over -6, which would be 4/3. Okay. That's not right. I'm sorry. Let me try this again. All right, let's start over. Y equals m. There we go. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 3 minus 5 is -2 over -6. That would be 1/3. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to use the 2 and the 5 as my x1 and my y1. So I've got y minus 5 equals m times x minus x1. All right, because y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now I need to change to slope-intercept. So I'm going to distribute this 1/3. Okay, now I need to put that in standard form. So I'm going to add this 5 to the other side. So I would get, I'm going to take it up here, y equals 1/3 x minus 2/3, and then plus 5, which would be over 3, so 15 over 3, if I'm getting a common denominator, because that would be over 1, so 15 over 3. So I get y equals 1/3 x plus 13 over 3. Now I need, this is in slope-intercept, okay, but they want it in standard. So I have to, if I wrote this in function notation, it would be f of x equals 1/3 x plus 13 over 3. So this is the first part of the answer that they're asking for. So this is my function notation. Now they want it in standard, so I'm going to take that 1/3 and I'm going to move it to the other side of the equation. I can't have negative a's and I can't have any denominators. So I'm going to multiply this by -3. The negative, because that will get rid of the negative a, the 3 because that's my least common denominator. So if I multiply that, I would get x minus 3y equals -13. And that is standard form. All right, here's one for you to do. So go ahead and pause it. And then this is your answer. Y equals -7 over 9x plus 53 over 9, and then 7x plus 9y equals 53. And that should be number 4 also. All right, number 5. Find the equation of a horizontal line containing the point 4, 5. So what we're doing is we're going to the point 4, 5, and then we draw a horizontal line. Okay, now we know that the horizontal line is only y equals. So anytime you have a horizontal line, you know it's going to be y equals. What does y equal? 5. So you could have done this without actually graphing. If you can remember that horizontal lines are y equals a constant, and you just pick what the y equals, and you've got it. All right, 5b. So let's try this one. Find an equation of a line containing 0.45 with an undefined slope. Well, if you remember that undefined slopes mean that you're going to use x equals. What does x equal? 4. So x equals 4. And then that is what it would look like. An undefined slope means it's a vertical line, and it's x equals 4. All right, 5c, here's some for you to do. Just remember that it's vertical or horizontal. Okay, I want you to look at E and F. Write an equation parallel to y equals 5. So what does y equals 5 looks like? It looks like a horizontal line. So in this one, it would just be y equals 2. Find an equation parallel to x equals 1. So that would be an undefined slope. So I'm going to say x equals -4. All right, number 6. In 1990, Window World Incorporated had 50 employees. In 2005, it had 85 employees. Let X represent the number of years after 1990 and let Y represent the number of employees. Assume that the relationship between the years and the number of employees is linear. Write an equation describing this relationship. Use the equation to predict the number of employees in 2000. Okay, if the year 1990 is represented by x equals 0, then that would mean that 2005 is represented, is 15 years after 1990. So 2005 is represented by x equals 15. The 2 points, 0, 50, and 1585 will be used to find the equation. So let's try to find that using this. I want to go back to the problem again. So, and just show you, okay, so in 1990, we're going to let x equal 0, because that's the beginning year. It had 50 employees. In 2005, 15 years later, it had 85. So that is how they are getting that information right here. Okay, so using those 2 points, we're going to come up with an equation in slope-intercept form to be able to predict more employees. Okay, so here we go. So we have to find the slope first. So slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 85 minus 50 over 15 minus 0. So that would give me 35. Let's see. So 85 minus 50 is 35, and then 15 minus 0 is 15. So let's simplify this as a fraction. Okay, so what can go into both of those? 5, so that would be 7 over 3 is my slope. Okay, so my slope is 7 over 3, and I'm going to use this as my x1 and my y1. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I've got y minus 50 equals 7/3 x. So how would I put that in slope-intercept form? I would add 50 to both sides. So I get y equals 7/3 x plus 50. That is my slope-intercept form. If they want it in function notation, it would be f of x equals 7/3 x plus 50. Okay, so we're going to use this equation to predict the number of employees in 2000. So 2000 is 10 years after 1990. So remember we said 1990, we let x equal 0. And in 2005, we let x equal 15. So if they're wanting to know in 2000, that would be 10. So all they're doing is plugging a 10 in for x and then solving it, and they got there about 73 employees in 2000. All right. So 6b, a faucet is used to add water to a large bottle that already contains some water. After it's been filling for 3 seconds, so watch how I'm going to do this. After it's been filling for 3 seconds, the bottle contains 10 ounces of water. After it's been filling for 20 seconds, the bottle contains 24 ounces of water. Let Y be the amount of water. Yeah, let Y be the amount of water and X be the time, the seconds after the faucet was turned on. Write an equation in slope-intercept. All right, so first we have to get our slope. So slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 14 over 17. All right, and then you have, you're gonna choose this for x1, y1. So I'm gonna say y minus 10 equals 14 over 17 times x minus 3. So I've got y minus 10 equals 14 over 17, 14x over 17, minus, if I multiply that, I would get 42 over 17. Okay, and then all we have to do is I'm going to add this 10 to the other side. So y minus 10 equals, I'm just rewriting the equation so it can be kind of all together. All right, so we're going to add 10 to both sides. And when I do that, I need a common denominator. So I'm going to say minus 42 over 17 plus 170 over 17. And when I do that, the equation that I get, I'm going to write it up here, is y equals 14 over 17x plus 128 over 17. And that is your final answer. So I know I've got this when I can use slope-intercept form to write an equation of a line, use the slope-intercept form to graph a linear equation, use point-slope form to find an equation of a line given its slope and point of a line, use the point-slope form to find an equation of a line given 2 points of a line, use the point-slope form to solve problems and find equations of vertical and horizontal lines. So do you really understand? How could you graph the linear equation y equals 3x over 4 minus 2 using slope and y-intercept? And then explain how to use the point-slope form of linear equation to write the equation of the line with slope of 1/2 that passes through 4, -1. If you can answer both of those questions, then you've got this.